Well, hello, River of Life. Brian Goodwin here, and I get the privilege of leading you through a devotional this morning, and I'm really thankful for that opportunity. I think back to this past week, and I got to tell you, if we would have had a Minnesota sports team that could have beaten a Houston sports team, I wished it would have been the Twins last week, right? The Twins have lost, it's like 18 playoff games in a row. It's crazy. I am starting to have doubt as to whether they will ever win a playoff game, right? But we did have a Minnesota sports team beat a Houston sports team. It was our football team on Sunday. Maybe you got a chance to watch it. Maybe you really don't care. But here's the thing: is I love football. I love watching it, but I had serious doubt on Sunday. I mean, I was hoping they would win, but Minnesota's 0-3, right? They're playing in Houston, and our offense has kind of not been in sync most of the year so far, and Houston has a lot of weapons. I just had serious doubt that we would come out with a win. Now, why am I talking about sports to start this out, right? I want to talk to you about doubt today, right? And I just want you to know that doubt impacts how we see things. Doubt, it impacts the way we see things. It certainly impacted the way I saw the football game on Sunday, right? And so doubt is a real part of life. Doubt is, you think about what is doubt? Well, it's when you're uncertain about something. When you consider something questionable or unlikely. When you hesitate to believe. That's what doubt is. And maybe, everyone has lived with doubt before. Maybe you can think of a time when you have dealt with a level of doubt. I mean, doubt was littered with questions and uncertainty. And here's the thing is, I think there is a correlation between doubt and control. I think they go in together, right? So the land of doubt, when you're living there, it's filled with areas to which we're not in control. And I think there's a scale regarding doubt, right? The less we're in control, the greater the amount of doubt there will be. And then conversely, the more we do feel in control, the less the amount of doubt there may be. Now, I want to point out, because this is important, that doubt is not a sin. Doubt is not a sin, right? The Bible gives several examples of doubt from which we can learn from it. And I want to bring a few of these to light here in just a few minutes. But here's the thing about doubt. Doubt is not a sin, yet it can start us on the path to sin. Right? The path to sin, it starts in your mind. And so when you think of doubt, doubt is like a fork in the road. It's like a fork in the path of your life. When you're faced with doubt, you have a choice to make. You have choices to make. Right? Looking one way in this fork, you don't understand what's going on. You don't understand the big picture. All you know is what you know. And so you're tempted to take the path trusting in yourself for the answers. It's a path that elevates ourselves to the place of controlling. And this will take us down the path of sin almost every time. But looking the other way in the fork, you understand that you may not understand the big picture, right? But you choose to trust God in faith that even in your doubt, He is at work for your good. And so you seek Him in the midst of your questioning. So doubt is a big deal. It's a big deal. We need to recognize doubt as a red flag and a wailing siren in our lives, right? When we recognize doubt, when we recognize it, we need to recognize the fork that is in the path that we've come to. And it's okay to ask questions of God, because when we have doubt, we're in a shaky place to be. But I think of James 1:6, where it says, "But when you ask, you must believe and not doubt, because the one who doubts is like a wave of the sea, blown and tossed by the wind." And so the type of doubter James is speaking of is the one who is very susceptible to going down the path of sin. So let's look at the Word of God. And let's see how doubt has appeared in the Bible and the forks that have been approached in their lives. It starts right out in the very beginning. We'll talk about Adam and Eve, specifically the woman, Eve. In Genesis 3:1 says the serpent appeared to the woman and asked, did God really say you must not eat from any tree in the garden? Now, right away, do you hear the doubt that's being cast in that questioning by the serpent? I mean, the enemy loves to do this. He loves to get us into a place where we're asking questions like, is God really good? Will he really provide? Is God holding out on us, giving us less than we deserve? I mean, have you ever wrestled with some version of those questions? I'm sure you have. I know I have as well. And so do you see the fork in the path that the woman is facing here in Genesis? On one way, for the woman, does she accept that God has kept the best from her and is therefore untrustworthy? That his restrictions given to her are meant to withhold good from her, and that his purposes are not good. This will lead her down the path of choosing the fruit, which is what she ultimately does. We know the story. But think of the other fork in the road, the other path that she could have taken. Does the woman see the doubt for what it is? It is deception. It is a lie that is intended for us to deny the God who has given us boundaries out of love for us and for our own good. Does he trust that God has a purpose in the command that was given to them? Doubt, it gives us a fork. And we can go two different ways. Let's think of the guy that has doubt in his name as we know him, right? Doubting Thomas from John chapter 20. It gives us a story that Thomas was not with the disciples when Jesus had appeared to them. And he had heard the reports, but he had doubt, right? He tells them, unless I see the nail marks in his hands, and I put my finger where the nails were, and I put my hand in his side, I will not believe. Right? You can see the doubt that Thomas is wrestling with. And so he's got a fork in the road, dealing with doubt. Does Thomas go with what he knows? That people don't rise and live again after their physical bodies die. Right? Nobody's done that before. This is crazy thinking, to think that somebody has risen after they've died. That's one path that he's taking. On the other hand, does Thomas understand that this Jesus, whom he has seen do extraordinary things, he is the Son of God that he claims to be, and that what he claimed, it is possible, and that faith is the evidence of things unseen? That's doubting Thomas. He had a fork. And then Peter. Talk about Peter in Matthew 14. Jesus had walked out to the disciples who were in the boat, and the waves are crashing and the wind is howling, and Jesus comes out to them while it's storming. And Peter, being the spontaneous, impulsive Peter that we love, he cries out, "Lord, tell me to come out to you on the water." And Jesus obliges. He says, "Come." And then Peter, who did well in his first few steps, he begins to look around, and he sees the waves, and he hears the wind. And what shows up? Doubt. And Peter starts going down. And Jesus reaches for him and says, "You of little faith, why did you doubt?" Why did you doubt? And this is what doubt can do in our lives. If we trust in what we know and lean on our own understanding, we're going down. We're going down. So we need to fix our eyes on the author and the perfecter of our faith. And so then it comes to you. What area in your life are you dealing with doubt right now? Maybe as I say that, you're thinking of somebody in your life. Is someone sick? And maybe they're dying and they need a healer. Maybe there's somebody that's fallen away from their faith, and and they need proper spiritual guidance to be spoken into their lives. And you can't be the one to do that. But they're on your mind. Maybe you are thinking of something in your own life. You're in a tough situation and you need God to provide. And doubt is creeping in. Maybe you're struggling with an addiction and you need an intervention. And you doubt, will God act? I've been crying out. Will he help me? We live in a crazy culture and stuff in this world just seems out of control. And you wonder, why doesn't God do something? Maybe you doubt if he will. You know, remember, when doubt shows up, there's a fork in the road. Will you choose to let your mind go down a path that will lead you to sin and a trust that's just rooted in yourself? Or will you see the red flag? Will you hear that siren blaring that comes with doubt? And will you choose instead to run to God? Even if you don't understand what he's doing. And even if you can't see what good can come out of it. Will you let the doubt that is in your life assist you in building your faith in the God of the impossible? And that's what doubt can do. It can help build our faith in God. God can use all things for good, even if it was intended for evil. And doubt can be a tool that he can use. Pray with me, will you? Well, Lord, you are good, and all things are possible in your strength. Lord, you promise so much to us, and yet we confess it is common for us to allow doubt to creep into our thinking. May your Spirit help us when doubt creeps in. May we see that red flag, and may we hear that siren blaring when our doubts tempt us to follow a path that will lead us towards sin. May we instead see our doubts as opportunities to run to you in faith and trust. Lord, your love for us is deep, and you're always at work growing us. So praise be to your name, I say. Thank you for your word and the truth that we can pull from it. To you, Lord, be glory and honor forever and ever. Amen. Well, thank you. Have a wonderful day, River of Life. God bless.